Hello there Whipplings and welcome back to another mod showcase. Today I'm going to be showing you a mod called the Volcanoes, Concrete and Elevators mod. And I know it's a bit of a peculiar mix of features for just one mod to have, but they are all amazing features, so it's a really cool mod anyway. So guys, if you could reach 600 likes for this epic mod, that would be awesome, so please remember to smash that like button. Anyhow, I'm going to start with the volcanoes that this mod adds. Now these can actually spawn naturally when you generate your worlds, or you can spawn them directly using a special item which I have in my inventory at the moment, which is weirdly called tile.volcano.name, and you can just place this down and then you'll start a cataclysmic event of volcanic nature. Anyway, before we actually go into this, I'm going to have to make a little note here. If you don't have a very good PC, you're probably not going to be able to run this mod, in particular the volcano part of this mod, because they are always active, they are dynamic volcanoes, and the lag just never goes away. So unless you have a really powerful computer, you're not going to be able to use this mod, I don't think. And that means I'm not going to actually be able to use shaders, so even though I'm using them at the moment, I'm going to have to turn them off before I show you the first feature of this mod. So, now that I've got rid of shaders, I can finally show you what the formation process of this volcano looks like. So I'm just going to place it down now, and even though it starts off quite innocent looking, there's going to be a massive explosion, like so, and we're just going to get lava everywhere, and it's going to cool, forming some basalt. I don't think it's called basalt in this mod, and wow, I nearly got consumed by the volcano then, that would be bad. I think it's actually just called solidified lava or something like that, solid lava, yeah, tile solid lava, one.name. Anyway, you can see it's like a slideshow at the moment. This thing causes so much lag as it's forming, but hopefully with any luck it will calm down eventually. These things never completely die off, they will always be active. In fact, I did leave one for about an hour and a half, just idle. I was AFK while doing other things, and when I came back this volcano was still active and it was still blowing stuff up, and there was still lava everywhere. So yeah, they never completely die off, but still, that's kind of the awesome part about this mod. And look at that, it's just consumed that tree, it's just disappeared in front of me. Wow, everything in its path is just going to get decimated, everything is just going to get destroyed. We've got explosions, and look at that, we've got some cool new particle effects. It's like an intermittent form of lava before you actually get the whole bits of lava. And look at that, we've got tiny bits of lava, they're not just like covering a whole block, and that's pretty much why I love this mod so much, because these volcanoes, if you actually saw my natural disasters mod showcase, you may have noticed that the volcanoes that spawned in that one were very blocky looking, even though they fit with the Minecraft theme. Because they didn't have any kind of new blocks in them, it still didn't really look like a volcano at all. It was pretty much just a hill covered with lava, and it wasn't really volcano looking in appearance. But what I love about this is that these have like a nice black coloured basaltic rock which forms the volcano, and also because this basalt can solidify in different layers like snow, you can see we've got half blocks of basalt and quarter blocks and eighth blocks. It just makes the whole volcano look a lot smoother and a lot more realistic, and hopefully this is going to calm down because it's just ridiculously laggy. I mean, look at this, 14 FPS. I'm not even using shaders. Can you imagine how bad it would be with shaders? And it's still growing. How tall is this thing? It's now consumed the whole of this mountain, or hill. It's not really a mountain. I don't know why I said mountain. Anyway, it's just overtaken the height of this, and it's only been about 2 minutes, and it's already this high, and it just keeps going. It's never going to end. I believe the shapes of these are random, so you could get some huge ones or you could get some tiny ones, and if you get a huge one like this one, it's probably not even going to ever stop being active. It could continue to be like this for another 5 minutes. I don't even know. But look at the size of this thing. It's starting to make this distinctive cone shape, and it's never going to become dormant. It's pretty much like those volcanoes that you find in Hawaii, which are above the volcanic hotspot. It's still growing. I just don't know how high this is going to be. It's just going to go on forever. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to like stay here, and hopefully I'm just going to do a little time lapse, and you'll be able to see how it grows and forms into something even bigger than this. I mean, this is still huge. Look at the size of this thing. Actually, is it calming down? Is it calming down? It looks like it might be calming down. Then again, it's going to explode again, isn't it? Oh, look. I think we might be in luck. I think it's stopped. No need for a time lapse. It's stopping. It's slowing down, and now it's just going to like stay in its semi-active state. I don't think it ever has any large eruptions like the beginning formation eruption. I think it's only going to do little spurts of lava, like you can see here. We've just got like a lava pool that's spawned, and it's going to flow down the side of the volcano, like so. and it just looks awesome. Look at this distinctive cone shape. It's a huge cone, and it's just a humongous volcano all over. And by the way, if you want to load the whole form of the volcano, you might have to fly around a bit or walk around the side, because it is a bit laggy when spawning the volcano. It doesn't really update all the chunks in unison. So it's going to look a bit weird unless you fly around and update everything. And look at that tree just disappeared in front of me. I'm surprised I haven't seen any disaster pigs. There's always a pig by a disaster, and I didn't see one today. There were just no pigs around. That's a real shame. There should have been a pig. It's like something's missing from my life. I really wanted a pig, but there's a creeper down there. Hello, creeper. Why are you even here? What are you doing? You're just like witnessing the apocalypse. Wow, what? 2 witches in a cave. Okay then, what is going on here? Is this like a meeting between the witches and the creepers? We've got 3 creepers and 2 witches. 4 creepers. They must be making some kind of arrangement. They're trying to make disaster plans or something. Oh, look at this thing. It's still growing. Is it erupted again? It looks like it might have erupted again. I mean, it's still active. It seems like this side of the volcano is dormant and the other side is active. But anyway, I've talked about volcanoes for enough now. I should stop blabbering on about this thing. And let's move on to the other features of this mod. And wow, look at that lava cascading down the side of the volcano. It just looks so awesome. These are just such awesome volcanoes. It's just an amazing mod. Definitely download this if you have a computer that can handle it. So now let's move on to feature 2 of this mod. It's a really weird mix of features, isn't it? I mean, we've just gone from volcanoes to elevators, but yeah. So I'm going to be showing you this elevator, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty much just a 1x1 elevator. You can't really fit many people in here, although you could stand on top of each other because it's Minecraft, even though that's not very realistic. Hopefully in the future they enable you to make bigger elevators so you can actually fit more people in, but for the moment it's only a 1x1 area. But you can see here we've got a floor selector. I don't know why I said room selector. So you can choose a maximum of 16 floors. So you could have 16 floors for your building, and you could hook up this elevator shaft to take you to each floor individually. So anyway, if you want to actually use this elevator, you just step inside of it, make sure you're exactly in the center of it, otherwise you might be left behind by the lift and get like glitched into a block, and that would suck. But then you can just select the floor just by hovering your crosshair over the correct floor and then right clicking, and you can see there it highlighted the floor and it's taken me up 1 floor, and now we've got a nice scenic view about 6 blocks above the surface. And that is one thing I need to note, because this elevator is 6 blocks tall. If you make a building using these elevators, you need to make sure each floor is 6 blocks above the previous floor, otherwise your elevator isn't going to be able to stop in time because it has to be the same height as the floor. Yeah, otherwise it's going to look a bit weird. So make sure your floors are 6 blocks high before you use this mod. But anyway, I'm just going to pop back in my elevator and then move up to the next floor, and now we should be on floor 3. And I love the way as it goes up, it speeds up when you're not anywhere near the next floor, and then it slows down when you're about to approach your stopping point, which is quite neat. So it's nice and gracefully stopping when you reach your correct floor. And for some reason it's highlighted 2 as well as 3. There must be a graphical glitch, or maybe it tells you which floor you were previously on. There's one way to check this. I'm just going to go back into the world, and yeah, it's disappeared, so that is a little bit of a glitch, so just ignore that. And we've still got 3 highlighted, but now let's just go back in and go to the top floor, which should give us the best view of the house. So look at this thing. Don't know why I said house, it's a tower block. We've got railings here to stop you jumping over them, and what am I doing now? I'm just jumping on top of them. Don't do this in real life, kids. Terrible idea. Railings are there for a reason. The chances are if there's a railing here, you don't want to step on top of it because you're probably going to fall to your death. But luckily we're in Minecraft, so I can just do this. Whee! Why did I do that? I should probably take the elevator down. It's probably slower, but a lot safer. So you can see there it's highlighted 4, and I can just pop back in the elevator and then go back down to floor 1. And wow, I'm picking up some serious pace now. Look how fast this elevator is going. It's really quick. So I can imagine if you had like 16 floors to your tower block and you went from 1 to 16 in one foul swoop, you'd go so fast. You'd probably go like 30 blocks a second. And now I'm trying to make units of speed in Minecraft. 30 blocks a second. 10 blocks a second, like meters per second in real life. So it would be meters per second, really, isn't it? Since blocks are meters, but blocks per second sounds cooler. And then you could use the units BS. Oh. If anyone gets that, you probably will. So yeah, let's just try going from 1 to 4 and see if we get the same amount of speed. Look how fast we're going, and then we should gracefully stop at the top. You can see it slows down slightly before we get dropped off at the correct floor. I just love this elevator. I could just step in this all day and go up and down all day. It's just so fun to go in. And you may have noticed I've tried to make it like a glass elevator, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because I've got like glass here so I can see out as I go up. Let's just have a nice view, look, of the surroundings. Look at that, we've got nice glass windows so you can see exactly where you are. Oh, how cool is that? That's probably really bad lift design, being able to stand in the alcoves of the windows. I mean, the lift would like take off half your body. Look at that. It cut off my arm as it went up. That's got so many health and safety hazards. Don't do this in real life. That would be an awful lift design. But anyway, let's go back to floor 1. And yeah, I just keep alternating between elevator and lift because, of course, in England we call it lift as well as elevator. Pretty much anyone says anything they want. You can say elevator, lift, same thing. Just ignore that. I don't know why I keep doing it. But yeah, so I better talk about how you can actually create one of these elevator shafts now. You don't actually have to put it in a shaft. You could just put it on its own, like freestanding structure. But it looks cooler if you actually implement it into a building. The items you're going to need to create a lift are the lift name tile thingy, and then you've got the block of iron. You're going to need this, it's a very important ingredient. Then you're also going to need some lift rails, and then of course the lift controller, and then finally the device linker, which enables you to link the floor controller into the lift itself. So I'm not actually going to go through and show you how to build it because it's quite a complex process, and the mod creator has actually put a post in the forum topic showing exactly how to create a lift shaft, which I follow to build this monstrosity, and as you can see it works perfectly, so I'm sure you'll be able to follow those instructions. But if you want to download this mod and try this mod out, I'm going to leave a link in the description to the exact post in the forum topic that shows you how to build one of these things, because it is very helpful and it's a really very helpful guide if you want to check it out. But pretty much what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move on to the final feature, which might surprise you. It's a very random feature, but it's quite cool as well. So the final feature of this mod I want to show you is the concrete, and it seems really weird to go from like volcanoes to elevators to concrete. It's a bit of an obscure feature for a mod to have, but it's still quite neat that you can now have concrete in Minecraft. I'm not going to bother explaining what concrete is, I'm sure you all know what concrete is, but now I'm just going to start off by showing you how you can actually make some concrete. And this is the block that you need to make, which is concrete liquid.name. I suppose they haven't set the names of these items correctly yet, which is why everything says tile. But yeah, so this is the item that you're going to need to get to actually create concrete. And the reason I've put mixer ? Is because I can't get this damn thing to work at all. So you can craft it using 5 stone bricks and then 3 stone, arranged like so. And it has the same texture as a brick block, and you place it down, it doesn't look anything special at all. But whenever I right click on this, it just crashes my game immediately. It says you open this up and there should be loads of item slots, and you put like sand and gravel and then water in it, which would make sense, and then it gives you concrete blocks. But every time I try and open it, it just crashes my game. So sadly I'm not going to be able to show you fully how you can make this. Maybe it hasn't been fully implemented yet, and maybe in the future eventually it's going to add this feature, but currently it's not in the mod. So yeah, I can't really show you this, but we may as well show you the functionality of the concrete. So I've got some concrete here, and if I just place it in the top left of this area I've made, I've like cut out into the ground to show you how this works. You can see it acts like a liquid, so it will spread around, and hopefully it will like cover this whole area. But it's like leaving this one corner block at the moment. Come on, get over here, fill this block. You should do. I calculated it perfectly. Look at that. It's really smooth. It's all on the same level, and eventually over time in the sunlight, I think we're getting sunlight now, this should solidify, and then we should get solid concrete blocks, which should look a little bit darker than the rest of the blocks. Actually, they might be a little bit lighter. And I'll just show you now what happens when you step in concrete. Of course, I never do this in real life. Never step in concrete, because you just make a mess of it. You end up with like footprints in the concrete as it hardens. And once you've stepped in concrete, there's nothing you can do. It's just going to set like that, and it's ruined. Which is terrible. You just have like footprints in concrete. Cats do it all the time. They like step in concrete and ruin your paving. Anyway, I'm just going to step in here, and you can see that when I try and jump, I can't jump very high at all. Or even though then I just like jump really high because I was in creative and I just flew. But ignore that. So you can see I can't jump very high at all. Let's see how much I'm jumping. Not much at all, because I'm getting stuck in the concrete, which is makes it logical that I wouldn't be able to jump very high. And you can also note I'm walking very slowly in this stuff, and I was hoping it'd start to solidify. There we go, it's starting to solidify. You can see this one's slightly lighter than the liquid form of the concrete around it, and when I step on this one, you can see I can jump the normal height, I can jump out, because this one's set. But the rest of these aren't, so I can't jump here, and I can jump here. And I suppose it would take about, I don't know, Minecraft day for this whole thing to set. And once it has set, you can use these special items here, which are paintbrushes. So, I haven't actually tested this out yet. I don't know if it works or not, but I think all you have to do is right click, yeah you do, with the paintbrush items, and then you can colour the concrete whatever colour you want. So we can have green, blue, or red in this case. Those are the only three I've got at the moment, but I can't really show you how you can craft these paintbrushes because it says that we need the paintbrush item, but I've tried to see how this is crafted and I can't. It just tells me that I need to combine a paintbrush with an ink sac to get a paintbrush, which is required to get the red paintbrush. I don't know how you can craft the paintbrushes in the first place, but you can actually just dye this concrete if you're in creative. Get yourself some paintbrushes and just make it red. So if you don't want to get loads of wool or stained clay, then this is another alternative for you to make some colourful structures just using concrete and then paintbrushes as well. But now let's move on to the asphalt that this mod adds. So this is completely different to concrete because it sets in about 2 seconds. It doesn't take a whole day, it sets in about 2 seconds, and immediately you can see I can walk up this, and it's really hard to build stuff out of because it sets so fast. You can see I can just place it down and within about 2 seconds it's already hardened, and you end up with this really bumpy structure. I suppose you could like fill in the whole area if you had enough asphalt. You can see there I can place it down and eventually I'll end up with a smooth surface because it won't ever go above the block height. So there we go, I can just smooth this whole thing out, and there we go, we've got a nice surface, which would be really cool if you wanted to make some road surfaces, or you could like put a concrete stripe down the middle for the road markings or something like that. But that's the asphalt, and I believe this is the stuff that the volcano was made out of. It does look a similar texture, so maybe in the future if you find a volcano you can mine it and this is what the volcano stuff drops. Maybe that's the future use for this stuff and how you could obtain it. So there is one final feature of this mod to do with concrete that I need to show you, and it is of course the rebar, and it's basically just a structural supporting beam kind of thing which you pour concrete into to shape it into different structure types. So you can see here I've got the letters H and I making the word high, and I can now, using these rebars, fill this whole structure with concrete, making a concrete structure that says high. Normally I wouldn't be able to do this because of course when you place down concrete it just spreads around randomly, seemingly randomly anyway, and wow, that solidified instantly. That's not normal. But yeah, so this enables you to like shape concrete. So all I have to do is just go up here and then pour some concrete into the top hole, and it should propagate down, and then it will solidify into a block form at the bottom. Now it's not actually solid, even though it may look like it's solid. Currently this isn't solid at all. I can walk inside of it, therefore it's not solid. It will turn a lighter shade of grey when it is solidified, but that does mean I can now add more and more concrete into this structure, and it will fill it up slowly but surely. You can see it's going across here and then filling up the other side, and it's going to slowly solidify over time. But let's just complete this H so it looks really nice and complete like so, and it should fill up, and now we've got a lovely H. Look at that. So that's the way you can actually like shape concrete into different structures without having to like build a supporting like structure around the side of it so it doesn't like escape. But you can see I can walk inside of this, and I can keep doing this until it solidifies. Like this block over here has solidified, so I can't walk into it anymore, but if I jump I can. And I'm just going to complete the eye now, just for completion's sake. So I'm just going to complete this eye, and it should slowly fill up. There we go, it's now complete. And if I get rid of this supporting like wood structure, oh whoops, I didn't put the top. Okay, it's just going to flow off now. No, I've ruined it. What have I done? Oh, just ignore that. Wow, that is a failure. I forgot that I'd put some concrete where there wasn't a bar, and it hadn't solidified, so I've made a complete mess. I can remove those now though. Oh, what have I done? I've ruined it. Hopefully I can get some blocks and then get rid of this concrete. Yeah, I can do that, that's okay. I thought I'd ruined it there, that would be awful. Oh, I spent so long making that rebar structure. I didn't actually, it took about 30 seconds. But look at this thing, I've made myself a high. I can't really remove the rest of it because it's not set yet. But you can see, you get the general gist of this. You can make random structures out of concrete by using these rebars to like define where you want the concrete to form. And you can also paint it, of course, so I can have the letter H being blue, and I can have the letter I being red or something like that. Or even though I can't paint it all because it hasn't solidified. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but you can only paint concrete that's set. You can't paint flowing concrete, which makes sense when you think about it, really. So I can paint all this, do whatever you want. But yeah, so that pretty much sums up everything in the Volcanoes, Elevators and Concrete mod. The mod name's pretty self-explanatory, it tells you everything in the mod, and it's a pretty cool mod as well. All the features in it are really well done and really cool to mess around with, especially the volcanoes. I love the volcanoes and how natural they look. But anyway, thank you for watching everyone. If you've enjoyed this mod showcase, please remember to smash that like button, and as always, I'll be seeing you next mod showcase.